everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany. This is the Brittany React Show, and on this show we talk all things movies and entertainment. Today we have a lot of good things to go over, thankfully. Netflix had their big Tadum event, so there's like 2 million trailers we gotta look at. We gotta look at the Stranger Things trailer. I like the Guillermo del Toro trailer. Lots and lots of good things. Oh, we have to talk about what's going on in the superhero space. So there's lots of drama actually behind both Superman and Fantastic Four. There's a bit of rivalry there, but also they're both having like drama as far as like screenings go. Like things aren't going 100% well behind the scenes. So we're going to talk about that, but despite that, it does look like Superman is tracking very well. So yeah, lots of good things to discuss. Very much looking forward to today's show. How is everyone doing? Oh yes, yesterday was my birthday. That's why there was no show yesterday. Had a good time. Hung out with my friends. It was good. Good day. But thank you, all the birthday wishes, both here on YouTube and on Twitter. I read all the birthday wishes, so thank you. If you wrote happy birthday, I appreciate it. You guys are so nice. Hi Cheetah Viper, hi Editing Geek, hi Sunset Draws, hi Cream Cheese, hi Naomi, hi Yancy, hi Alexander, hi Sketch9, hi Astronomy, hi DeBoy, hi Kassarim, and hi Cupcake. Thank you to each and every one of you who is here. I deeply appreciate it, as always. Alexander, you're in the camp that you want to see both Superman and F4 flop? I don't know if both will flop. I think one of them could. But yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute. So let's get into it. All right. So let's start with the box office news. So yes, I did not see the new Karate Kid. Hold on, let me make this bigger. I did not see the new Karate Kid movie yet. But it seems like not a lot of people have. It only made 21 million in its domestic opening weekend, which is not that high. This is a franchise that's been going on since like the 80s, and I know it had a bit of a revival with the Netflix show, but it just seems like there's not a lot of people who still have interest, which is actually kind of sad because like I really like Jackie Chan, and it just seems like Jackie Chan does not have the pull that he once did. Honestly, I thought this movie would do a lot better, so the fact that it only made 21 opening weekend, I think this franchise maybe has like run out of steam. I know there are a lot of people who felt like the Netflix show really fell off, so maybe that's what hurt this opening, this movie. I don't know. I think it just might be an old franchise that is time to be done at this point. I don't think that it's like a franchise that is like gaining a ton of new fans. So that could be also part of the issue here. But did anyone actually see Karate Kid's Legends? Were you excited? Are you part of this 21 million? Sketch9 had no idea it came out. Ashley says, why did they make this? Oh, Alexander, you thought the movie was really uneven. Yeah, I've heard that a lot of people didn't like the film, so that also could be part of the issue. Naomi, you said that the movie is very rushed. Okay, so for the people who have seen this film, it doesn't sound like a lot of you guys have like good things to say. So maybe it's a good thing it's not doing well. Honestly, you're not making me want to rush out to see it. Maybe this will be just a film that I skip. We'll see. But honestly, yeah, I don't think they marketed very well. I'm seeing a lot of people just didn't even know it came out. So I think that's also part of the issue. I don't know what they're doing with the marketing these days. Like, there's so many movies that come out and y'all have like never heard of them. Like, I don't know. And I would say, even as someone who goes to the theater a lot, I did not see this movie, like, in front of, like, I didn't see the trailer in front of, like, every movie that I saw. I didn't see this, like, heavily marketed. So, I don't know. It's like, I almost feel like they kind of, like, let this movie die. But yeah, not good, honestly. But what is good for Hollywood, is that Lilo and Stitch, despite the fact that I have a lot of problems with it and a lot of other Disney and Lilo and Stitch fans have a problem with it, the movie is still doing extremely well. I have to say the movie is still doing extremely well. So yeah, it's just past 600 million at the box office. It's already well into the profitable zone. At this rate, very likely could hit $1 billion. I still don't know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised at this rate. It dropped only around like 57%, I believe. So that's really decent. Honestly, I think this is just a movie that's going to appeal to casual audiences more than hardcore fans, as I said in my review. So I'm not surprised it's doing well. Um, it still doesn't make me like it more. But I mean, Disney needed this one, especially since they're already coming off of two huge bombs with actually technically three if you want to include Thunderbolts. Because I just saw a tweet. I don't know if this is accurate, but I just saw a tweet that said that Thunderbolts is on track to lose like $100 million. So if you add Thunderbolts with Brave New World with Snow White, Disney really needed a win. So this is definitely much needed for them. And honestly, I'm actually going to Disney World this weekend. So I'm going to see if I can take a picture with Stitch and like I'm going to share it on social media. So make sure you follow me on Twitter because I'm going to be there this weekend. From what I'm seeing, it's not very busy, so that's good at least. I'm hoping I don't have to wait in a bunch of lines. I'm really not looking forward to that. But other than that, I'm still excited. But yeah, I'm going to take a picture of Stitch and I'm going to share it online. Are you guys excited or happy that this movie is doing as well as it is? Are you upset that it's doing this well? How do you feel about the success of this movie? Okay, Padilla, you're not happy at all. You said Lilo and Stitch should have flopped. Truly an awful movie. Yeah, it's so interesting. There's a lot of people who, like, I don't see many people who, like, love this movie. I feel like most people who saw this movie just thought it was, like, okay and generally entertaining. But there are people who, like, really hate it. So it's kind of interesting how, like, the reactions to this movie are like, I would even say they're like super polarized. I would say it's like most people think it's just kind of fine, but then there's like a group that really hate it. And I think I follow more in the hated it part, but I understand why people do like it for the people that did. Ashley, you want to see it regardless. I would wait till Disney Plus, but it's, you do you. Sunset Draws, you didn't care for the movie. Oh, Yancy, you wanted to get people to rewatch the original? I hope so. I think that would be nice. But I don't think that actually tends to happen with the live action reboots. I'm pretty sure they're not, like, I don't think there's been a single live action reboot that's come out where it, like, triggered a huge rise in the original on, like, the Nielsen streaming charts or anything. Like, that just doesn't seem to happen. If anything, these live action reboots seem to replace the older movies for some of the young kids, or like it almost, some of these movies are so bad I think it actually like dings the old movies a bit. For example, Snow White, I feel like that was such like a controversial film that I actually kind of feel like that hurt Snow White, like the original. Like, I don't know, man. I don't think these live action reboots are actually helping Disney brand whatsoever. I think they're hurting them, even when they're successful. But yeah, we'll see. It's still doing well regardless of how I feel about it anyway. Mission Impossible, also honestly, it's not really doing that great, even though it got the highest opening for a Mission Impossible film last week, and it kind of held okay. Remember, the budget for this movie was $400 million, and the global cume is only at 358 or 353. So this is not gonna break even. This isn't gonna make money. This is like a guaranteed flop. It was just really disappointing because I really like Tom Cruise. I really like the Mission Impossible franchise. In fact, I plan to see it in Disney this weekend. So I'm disappointed that this franchise isn't like bigger, but I'm also not surprised because this is the part 2 of a movie that no one really saw the part 1 of. I do feel like this franchise has run its course, so I'm not surprised. But it is still disappointing. But I'm sure Tom Cruise will be fine. He's already like throwing out a bunch of movies he wants to make, and Hollywood will always greenlight a Tom Cruise movie, so he'll be okay. I'm just more upset about the Mission Impossible as a franchise than like if Tom Cruise will be fine. He'll be fine. But yeah, it just kind of sucks a bit. Lilo and Stitch got $63 million in its second weekend, so like I said, it's holding pretty well. Not surprised. This was the top 3, just so you guys know. Now, I wanted to talk about Superman. We're going to talk about Superman now for a little bit, because it's also the beginning of entertainment news. So, Superman is actually tracking to do quite well. So, according to Box Office Theory, they're thinking it could open between 154 to 175 million dollars domestically, which would be fantastic. Not only would it be the highest opening ever for any superhero film, period. Like Man of Steel opened to 115. So that just shows you how much more this is about to do potentially. Um but it's also like the first DC film to garner any genuine interest since maybe Aquaman, the first Aquaman. Because that one made $1 billion, but then like DC went on like a huge downturn where like every DC film flopped after that, and then now suddenly Superman's like turning things around for them. I don't know. I'm starting to feel the genuine real hype for Superman, like actual real hype for this movie, not just online, but like my friends are they're very much over superhero movies. Like I couldn't get them to see Thunderbolts, even though I told them that I liked it, but I think I could get them to see Superman because I do think that it's like I think it's a fresh start. It's supposed to be the start of a new franchise, so there's no homework going into it. But also, I think that I guess let's just move to entertainment news because I got to show you something to prove this point. But the marketing team did something really, really smart over the weekend. They released this like behind the scenes video showing David Cornsweet as Superman in his Superman costume, like being really sweet and kind to the kids on set, and like they all are acting like he's actually Superman, and it's super touching, super sweet. This video went very viral on the internet. And if you read like any of the comments surrounding this video, it's all like, well, I'm sold now. Oh, I guess I have to see it. Or it's a lot of comments like, this is what Superman's actually supposed to be. Like, I have always thought that Superman was supposed to be like the aw shucks good old boy. You know what I mean? Like, he's supposed to be a bit of a dork. He's supposed to be like an actual symbol of hope. Like, I wanted Superman to smile, and like I swear Henry Cavill never smiled. You know what I mean? Like I have to tell you, I hated what Zack Snyder did with Superman. I did not like Man of Steel. This is not some bandwagon thing. I've hated Man of Steel since it came out, and I remember the drama around that movie way back in the yesteryears when Man of Steel came out, and like the geek fandom online was divided over it because there's people who like swear by Man of Steel. They don't understand why people don't like it, and then there's people like me who I was like, what is this crap? I hate this movie. This isn't Superman. I reject Henry Cavill as Superman. So that movie was very divisive, and honestly, it was the cause or at least the start of a lot of DC's problems, like the old DC. Sorry, I gotta clear this. And I think the reason why that movie was so divisive was because Zack Snyder really wanted to make Superman like this sort of Jesus character. Like, Zack was obsessed with turning these characters into like literal gods to the point where he made Superman seem like some sort of vengeful, uncaring god who like pouted all the time. He never smiled. He killed people. And then in Batman v Superman, he was like evil. Or was it Justice League? I don't even know. But like, I just don't like how like, I feel like Henry Cavill's Superman never got to be Superman. He was mopey in the first movie, and then he was like the villain for the rest of the movies. So I'm like, I hated Henry Cavill's interpretation of that character and what Zack Snyder did. I wanted the aw shucks good old boy Superman. And that's why I think I'm starting to get excited for this movie. Because everything from the trailers to this little vignette of like how David is like interacting with the kids and how it seems like the tone of this movie is going to be a lot lighter. All of this is like green flags for me. I'm happy with what I'm saying. This is like what I wanted from Superman the whole time. If this is the tone of the movie, I think I'm going to like it. But here's the thing. There's a lot of drama around this film. And I'm about to go into what that is because apparently the test screenings have not been great, actually. In fact, the test screenings have gone so horrible that because of them, they had to hire a new editor and a new composer last minute to completely reshape this film based on the reactions from the test screenings. Now, if this were, I think, a Marvel movie, people would be like dogging this film constantly, right? So I think it's only fair that I bring it up because if it were a Marvel film, I'd be like, oh, Marvel's toast. So, to be fair, the Superman screenings have not been great. Now, to be clear, I think it's a little bit more complicated than just they haven't been great because it sounds like a lot of things, a lot of conflicting things are happening all at once. And I'm going to explain what those conflicting things are in a minute, but I did want to get some of your reactions from the chat in a moment. Oh, Richard, you like Henry. Okay, to be fair, I know Henry Cavill has a lot of fans. I know Zack Snyder has a lot of fans. If you're a Snyder bro in my chat, that's fine. I may not have liked his movies or his direction of the MCU, but I know he has his fans that do. Okay? I acknowledge that. I just hope that the Snyder fans give this new Superman a chance. And here's why. Because according to what the rumors are saying about the test screenings and why they're so wildly divisive, is because of a few things. Number one, it seems like the humor is an issue. That's why in the re-edit they took out a lot of the humor. And James Gunn is famous, or maybe I should say infamous, for his humor. So I'm not surprised the humor was an issue. I do think that when he's not restrained, I think some of his jokes are, they're just not good. Like, I do think his humor works most of the time, but I do think he needs someone that pulls him back because I think he has a tendency to go too far. And a good example of this is with the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. I love Guardians 1 and 3. I do not like Guardians 2. Because I felt like Guardians 2 is when he went off the rails with the humor. And I didn't think it was funny. And I thought a lot of the scenes were very cringy because it was just too much forced dumb stuff happening. I did not like Guardians 2. But I love Guardians 1 and 3. Particularly 3, which is like one of my favorite Marvel movies, period. So I do like James's humor when it's done well, but I do acknowledge that he can take it too far sometimes. And a lot of the rumors that I've been hearing about this movie sounds like he was definitely taking it too far. What are some of the rumors? Well, let's get into it. So, here are some of the rumors. So, apparently, again, this is all allegedly, they might have taken some of this stuff out in this re-edit, so I don't know if it's still going to be in there, but some of the things that they were going to do. So, there was going to be a super shit joke where, like, one of the main villains of the movie was going to be internet trolls, essentially, who don't like Superman, and they were going to trend a hashtag super shit. So basically James Gunn was going to turn his own trolls into the villain of the movie. That might still be the truth, I don't know. Another rumor was that, what's his face? Lex Luthor has an army of monkeys that are basically being like the trolls on the internet, spreading mean stuff about Superman. So basically James is trying to be like, these trolls are just like brainless monkeys or whatever. So that's one thing. Honestly, I think all of that does sound really dumb, so I hope that has been taken out of the edit. But that's not even it. That's not even where the crazy rumors and stuff ends. So I don't know if any of you here have heard of this channel, the Den of Nerds. He does a lot of like he has like a clips channel that I like to watch because he has like a long live stream like I do. And he has a lot of like insider information that he gets. So I like to watch his videos to get some of the insider tea or whatever. And he said that some of the things that he heard about this movie, I actually think sound great, but the executives don't like about it. So let me explain what he said that he heard about this movie. So one of the reasons they got a new editor for this movie was because originally this movie was structured non-linearly in the sense that it was going to be like a day in the life of Superman. So it was going to be like, this is Monday, this is Tuesday, this is Wednesday, and then it was going to like stop and start after each day, and it wasn't going to be like a straight narrative for the story. And that was something that the executives had a problem with, and this re-edit is actually about getting rid of that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday thing and just trying to edit it into like a straight narrative, which I mean, I haven't seen the original film. I don't know if how well it worked or not. However, I think the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday idea actually sounded great. And I actually think that for the TikTok audience that, you know, has no attention span, I think the idea of not having like a straight linear story and instead having like multiple like mini stories would actually do well for a younger crowd trying to watch this. Because I think what that sounds like to me is that you're going to get like mini contained stories within it, unless they edit it and they change it. Sounds like they are trying to change a lot of this. But I think for like people who have short attention spans, I think that's a good idea. In fact, I would even go as far as to say, even though I did not like this movie and I found it boring as sin, I can acknowledge there are people who liked it and loved it. Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer kind of had the same thing where it's like it was kind of vignetted into different parts of Oppenheimer's life. And like it kind of had like a narrative within each part that kind of began and ended. It sounds like Superman kind of wanted to do something similar. And I think that's actually a really good idea. I think honestly we should be playing around more with time and narrative because I think the younger generation needs that. I think like the reason why like people can watch or binge watch a TV show, right? But trying to sit down and watch just 1 2 hour movie is too much is because with the TV shows, with the episodes, they begin in the end and then you get a new story in the next episode. So it's like I think it's easier than trying to watch like a full 2 hour story. So if that's something that they thought was a bad thing, I kind of disagree, and I kind of liked James Gunn original vision here. So I don't know, I kind of liked that about it. So that was one thing. There was another thing. What was it? Hold on, I think I had it. I'm drawing a blank. Oh yeah, there was the other thing. James Gunn says that he actually got inspiration from Godzilla -1, which you guys know I love, 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 love that movie. It was my favorite movie of the year. I cried like a baby. Love that movie. James said that that movie was his inspiration for this movie because he wanted a good human drama and not just like it be about the fantastical stuff. And again, that sounds exactly like what I wanted. I want a good human, good old boy, aw shucks Superman, and the story with about him and Lois Lane. I don't want something that I was worried about just watching the trailers is like there's like a bunch of kaiju running around and a bunch of different characters. I was afraid that like too much of the story was going to focus on that. And I just don't. I've never been a kaiju person. That's why I was shocked how much I like Godzilla -1 because I've never liked kaiju movies. So I was afraid that it was going to be too much about that stuff. But it sounds like it is more of a human drama and like more focused on the character. So that's a good thing to me. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with this movie, but it kind of feels like, oh yeah, that was the other thing. I forgot one of the other things that was also an issue here. Um, Apparently, from people who have seen this movie, if you liked Man of Steel and you liked that darker, more grittier direction to the character, you might not like this movie. Like, you might really hate this movie. But if you're like me and you didn't like Man of Steel because you didn't like that dark, gritty take to the character, you'll probably love this movie. And again, judging just based on how this video blew up and how people are so positive about it, I genuinely believe there is a lot more people who wanted the upbeat, happy Superman than wanted Mr. Depressed Faced happy Superman. Um, I'm sorry, sorry. I'm sorry to call Henry Cavill Superman Mr. Depressed Face, but that's what he was. I'm sorry. And if this movie does open well over Man of Steel, I think that just strengthens my argument that this is what most people wanted from Superman all along, and I think that's why Henry Cavill's Superman was never that popular. I know that's going to be a controversial statement from the Cavill fans, but there's a reason why he never got another solo film after Man of Steel. His version of Superman was not very popular. He has his fans, but he was not, I don't think he was like mainstream popular. However, I think this version of Superman, if this behind the scenes video is any indication of what the movie is actually like, I think this is what people actually wanted from Superman. So I think the fact that it is leaning into nostalgia, the fact that it is more of like he's more like a lighthearted good boy rather than like a emo Jesus sad boy, I'm really happy that this is the direction they're going with, and I think they're going to make bank if the movie's actually good, and that this is what it turns out to be. So anyway, that's my opinion. Those are some of the rumors that I've heard about it. I've, as you guys know, I've had my own personal roller coaster with this movie, because like with each trailer, there's like stuff I like in it, and there's stuff I don't like. I have been worried about the James Gunn humor stuff. I have been worried about all the kaiju stuff, but I don't know, more that I'm seeing of it now and hearing about it now, it sounds like I might actually like it. But who knows? Who knows? They did have to come in and like get a new editor last minute, which is not normal. So who knows? But I'm cautiously optimistic about this movie. I am. What are your guys' thoughts about Superman? Are you interested in this film? Does it surprise you? Does any of this worry you? How do you think this movie is going to do? I know you guys are laughing at my the ways that I've been describing Henry Cavill. I'm not even trying to be mean to him. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm sorry, I was not a fan of that portrayal. I really could not stand it. So yeah, that's just my opinion, but I know he has his fans. I know he does. Okay, Editing Geek, you think it'll flop? Okay. I think this movie is like, I have no idea. Because this movie could end up being terrible. I have no idea. I'm just like cautiously optimistic because I really like some of what I am seeing. But I fully acknowledge that this could be the Flash 2.0. I have no idea. Oh, but Ashley thinks this is going to make $1 billion first week. So flop, $1 billion first week. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think it's going to be somewhere in between for sure. Du Bois says, no, I'm laughing because you're right on the money with the terms. So I'm sorry. Caledonia says, he went pretty emo Jesus on Lois during their interview. I don't think I would not call that emo Jesus. I feel like he was like trying to defend himself, thinking that he was doing good. That's not what I would call emo Jesus. What I call emo Jesus is like the literal scene in Man of Steel where Henry Cavill is in the church, right? And it's got like the heavy-handed cross symbolism and all that. That's what I mean by emo Jesus. Yeah. Yancey says, you're really selling me on this movie. Well, again, I don't know if this is good. I mean, look at this right here. Like, it could be bad. This is not a good headline. But it's weird in the sense that the stuff that the studio seems to be nervous about is the stuff that I think actually will make it a hit. So that's what's funny to me. Okay, David Goody, you think you'll love this movie? Okay. Cynthia C says you heard it was inspired by Top Gun Maverick. I did see a tweet that said that it could be the next Top Gun Maverick, but again, it would have to be really good because Top Gun Maverick was an excellent movie. But I can see in the sense that it might have that American like pride hoorah element to it. I can see it having that aspect of it. Um, Cheetah Viper says if they get Lex wrong, the movie will fail. I really like, um, what's his name? What's his name? Nicholas Holt. I really like Nicholas Holt. I loved him in like everything I've seen him in, which is why when I watch the trailers here, this is like the first thing where I'm fearing he might be miscast. Because I love him, I really do, but I do not. I have never got menacing vibes from him. He's got too much of like a soft boy persona. I can't see. I don't know if I can buy him as a villain. And this is someone who really likes Nicholas Holt, but I don't know if I can see it. Okay, Blueberry Muffin, you think this would be a tiny hit? Okay. Ashley Banks says, I mean, the actor is on point for Lex. Okay, so some people feel like he's on point, some people don't. To be fair, we haven't seen the movie yet, so my opinion could be changed when I actually see his performance. I hope it is, because I don't want this to be the first performance I don't like of his. Oh no, that super says this is giving me Flash vibes. I feel like the vibes are already more positive because at least David Cornsweet isn't terrorizing the people of Hawaii. At the bare minimum, they've got that going for them. Um, Rosemary says this movie could be amazing or awful. I have no idea. Literally, those are the options. I don't even think it's going to be mid. We're going to talk about Fantastic Four in a minute, where I think that probably will be mid. But this movie, I don't think it will be mid. I think it'll be either, like, amazing or terrible. I don't think there's any in between. Yeah, the color grading is another thing that I haven't liked. I still don't like the cinematography. That is something that I haven't warmed up to, so I'm probably just not going to like it. But we'll see. We'll see. But like I said, speaking of Fantastic Four, so the Fantastic Four test gradings have been very mid. Um, Whereas like the test gradings for Superman were like very, very polarizing, like either I love it or I hate it. It seems like the test gradings for Fantastic Four have been me. Which I kind of feel like is worse than just terrible, because like at least people are getting strong reactions from Superman, where it doesn't seem like people are getting super strong reactions from Fantastic Four, which I don't know about you guys, but I would rather like watch a really entertaining bad movie than a sort of okay mid movie. And I feel like Marvel is so down and out right now that they cannot afford a mid movie. Especially when like I think you could argue that like even though I did like Thunderbolts, it's not in like my top 10 for me. I would say it's like a top 20 movie, so it's like mid to good. um so I feel like especially after coming off the two bombs, this movie needs to be like not just a hit, it needs to be like universally well loved. And from the reactions to this, it does not sound like a lot of the reactions were like it was amazing. Most of the reactions so far have been like it was just okay. And that's not really encouraging. As you guys know, I have not really liked the casting. I was hoping that maybe seeing the cast in action in the trailer would change my mind, but it's only solidified more that I think almost every actor here was miscast. Um, I'm just not even feeling the chemistry between them. Honestly, I feel like zero chemistry between Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal. And speaking of Pedro Pascal, there's he's been going viral a lot lately with his like social anxiety thing where he has to like reach out to touch people, which I do think is weird. Um so I don't know about this movie. I where I'm feeling like genuine hope and hype for Superman, I'm not feeling that for Fantastic Four. I don't know if Marvel is about to have three bombs in a row, but if either Superman or Fantastic Four were going to underperform right now, I'd put my money on Fantastic Four. Which says a lot because like DC has been doing terribly these past few years. So the fact that like Superman even has genuine interest, I honestly have to say has got to be at least in some part due to James Gunn. He really has made himself like a household name at this point, you have to admit. Yes, he's putting himself all over the Superman marketing, but like he's also the most known person in the team, so I kind of get it. And maybe it seems to be working, I don't know. But yeah, Fantastic Four in comparison, especially with them both coming out in the same month along with Jurassic World. I I don't know. I feel like Jurassic World and Superman could eat Fantastic Four's lunch. That's what I, as of right now, predict could likely happen. Just based on what I'm seeing, the vibes I'm picking up, some of the tracking, how badly Marvel's been doing. Again, I can't. My friends have zero interest. Even my mom, who like, she read Marvel comics growing up as a kid. Like she was a superhero fan before I was, right? Even she's like, she doesn't like the casting and she's not super excited about this movie. So, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, do you guys think this movie will be a hit? What are your thoughts about Fantastic Four? Are you excited for it? What are your thoughts? Um, Cynthia C says Galactus being the best thing is concerning to me. I'm assuming he isn't even in most of the movie. Yeah, that's what kind of confirms this is mid if like the best thing is the villain that's like barely in it. And some of the other things that I've heard, again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know, but some of the things that I've heard is like the thing is like barely in it. But also that Vanessa Kirby, Sue Storm, is like the main lead of this movie. Even more than everyone else. And I also don't know how I feel about that. So yeah, I think this movie is in trouble. But is there anyone who disagrees with me? Because I've seen some like really passionate Marvel fans being like, no, this is gonna beat Superman. It's gonna make like $1 billion. And I'm like, I'm so glad that you're so confident, but I don't know where that's coming from. Ashley Banks says, hit it already has a fan base. It'll do well first week. But how big is the Fantastic Four fan base? Because I don't even think like the comics have been like huge. So, I mean, the last Fantastic Four movie flopped horribly. So where was the huge Fantastic Four fan base then? That's why I don't actually know how big the fan base for this movie is, or for the Fantastic Four in general. I just don't think there's really been any proof that it's actually that big. Okay, Natanya, you think Marvel's cooked? Alexander says, I'd rather see Pedro Pascal and Celine. I feel like Pedro needs to go, like, perform on Broadway or something. I feel like he needs to pull a Hugh Jackman and just, like, go sing and dance on Broadway or something. Because I feel like he just really wants to, and he just needs that outlet, you know? Nagisa, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm hoping both does good. Yeah, I mean, that's what James Gunn said, which I actually thought was a really great comment. Someone asked him about, like, the rivalry between Fantastic Four and Superman, and he said, go see both. So that was the very corporate but correct response, so good for him. We'll see. I just don't think that between those two movies and Jurassic World all opening in the same month, I think one of them is likely going to suffer. Just like when Barbenheimer messed with Mission Impossible, I think that like Superman and Jurassic World could mess with Fantastic Four. That is my prediction. I could be wrong, but for now, that is my prediction. Pedro got oversaturated. Yeah, I think that's definitely true. Yeah, Alexander, I saw that rumor. I think that's been a long standing rumor too. Um, anyway, let's move on to the next topic. So, speaking of Marvel, they are not going to Hall H this year. They are skipping Comic Con. So is DC, by the way. So, Comic Con is looking deader and deader by the year. Especially since Netflix is doing their own Comic Con, essentially. We're about to talk about Tadum in a second. Um, but yeah, Marvel is not doing Hall H this year. They said reportedly that it didn't feel like the right timing for a Hall H panel, following the delays of the Avengers films, which we talked about last week. Um, so I I'm not surprised in the sense that things haven't been going well this year. I think it would have been awkward to do a Hall H after three potential flops in a row. And then your next thing isn't even until like Superman or not Superman, Spider Man, or Doomsday, which is now next December. So I can understand why they wouldn't want a Hall H because things aren't going well for them. But I really thought that they would like at least use this time to like revitalize the fan base, energize people, get people excited about Doomsday. I thought that they would at least use this as a way to like just keep the fandom alive. So the fact that they're skipping, I don't know, man. I just kind of feel like they're probably going to do Comic-Con next year because it'll be the summer before Doomsday. But that's such a long time, like, without really communicating with the fans that I just... And then on top of having three flops in a row, I feel like that is a recipe potentially for disaster for Doomsday. Like, I don't know. I feel like they need to be worrying about like fan control, like getting the fans back and getting them excited, and like Comic-Con is the kind of thing you do to do that. So to skip Comic-Con, I just feel like is an admission of defeat and the fact that they're pretty down right now. I think this is a sign of weakness. I really do. But how do you guys feel about this? How do you feel about Comic-Con kind of becoming irrelevant? Were you guys looking forward to Marvel doing Hall H? Did you care? What are your thoughts? Ashley says that means they have something to hide, but that's a good thing. I don't know if they have something to hide. I think it might be the opposite, that they don't have anything at all. I think that it's very possible that they're so lost that they wouldn't even know what to share. I think that's also very possible. Rosemary says Jurassic World is going to be the highest grossing summer movie perhaps of the year. We'll see. Maybe the highest grossing movie of the summer, but I think it's going to be hard to beat potentially, well, Avatar, obviously. I think Avatar is going to be the highest grossing of the year. I can't see Jurassic World beating Avatar. Vacay JTV says the Russo brothers will bring it all back. Well, I hope so. Their non-Marvel movies kind of suck, but I mean their Marvel movies are like some of the best. So I'm hoping that they still have that sauce, but honestly, I'm not sure. Um, Cheetah Viper says Marvel reveals too many products that don't come out. Yeah, that could be also part of it. Maybe they don't want to announce anything that they're not like confident about. But like I said, they could have been talking about Wonder Man. They still have shows coming out this year, like Ironheart. They have that Vision show that they're working on. Like, that could have been the stuff that they were talking about, but they didn't even want to do that. So, again, it just feels like things must be really bleak over at the studio right now. Like, if I were a fly on the wall at Disney Marvel, I bet things are not going well. But yeah, let's move on to Tadum, because if you don't know what Tadum is, it is essentially Netflix's version of Comic-Con, where they make a bunch of announcements about what's coming up with Netflix. And I have to say, I didn't watch it, but they had so many good releases, and they got Lady Gaga to perform, and her performance was amazing. I've really, like, got in touch with my little monster self again. I was a huge little monster in high school, and then, I don't know, I just kind of, like, fell off. But, like, this year with Mayhem, she's got me on board again. But yeah, if you haven't seen this performance, please watch. It's actually really, really good. Um, but yeah, she performed Abracadabra, and she also did uh, the Wednesday dance as well. The reason why Lady Gaga was at Tadum is because she's actually going to be in Wednesday season 2, playing a professor. She's going to play a teacher in the second part of season 2, who crosses path with Wednesday. So yeah, she's going to be in the show. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense considering that Bloody Mary blew up from season 1 after the Wednesday dance. She did perform Bloody Mary as well. So I think this makes a lot of sense. I think this is right in Lady Gaga's wheelhouse. I think this is a great fit for her brand. She's like having a huge career peak right now, so I think this could hopefully maybe drive interest to Wednesday, even though I don't think it really needs the help. I think Wednesday season 2 is going to be huge regardless. But I do think that this like has helped at least Tadum, because like most of what I've seen from Tadum has been like Lady Gaga's performance. So I do think that just having Lady Gaga here is like getting people to talk about this show more, which is good. Are you guys interested in Wednesday season 2? Or Lady Gaga's part in it? Do you guys care about this at all? What are your thoughts? Yeah, she does have the acting chops. Naomi says, I've been obsessed with Lady Gaga since the Fame Monster. I feel like I didn't really like become like a solid little monster until the Born This Way album. I loved that album. I listened the heck out of that album. Will says, "Oh, I think Lady Gaga will do great at the role." Yeah, I think she'll be perfect. Oh, Denisha, you're a little monster. Oh, that's cool. Did you guys watch the Brazilian show? I actually watched her Brazilian show, the one she did to like 2.5 million people. That was a good show. That was a really good show. But anyway, moving on. So we also got a new teaser for the next Knives Out series. Now, I thought this teaser was a little weird because it's a lot darker and more gothic than the previous Knives Out movies. Like the first Knives Out movie was like a very much a fall Thanksgiving film. The second one was very summer. This one is giving Halloween. So that's interesting. It's like very kind of dark and gothic. Like it just looks like literally the night version compared to like the last Knives Out, which was so bright and light. And even like the font is like very gothic. I don't know how I feel about that. And I really like the Knives Out movies. I really do. Especially the first one. I thought the first Knives Out movie was amazing. Actually, I love that movie. But this is, I don't know. This is a very weird trailer with a weird vibe that doesn't seem to match any of the previous Knives Out movies. So I don't know how I feel about this. Are you guys still excited for these Knives Out films? Did you watch this trailer? What did you think about it? Are you ready for a gothic Knives Out movie? Okay, Naomi, you're excited. Yeah, it has a very different tone than the others. To be honest, I'm not sure I like the tone. Yeah, it's very Halloweenish. I don't know. I kind of liked this franchise being like a Thanksgiving type of vibe movie, like the first one was. So I want it to go back to that. I don't know. We'll see. But to be honest, this trailer kind of did the opposite of get me excited. It kind of made me worried. I didn't like this trailer. Now, there's also a new trailer for the next season of Squid Game. The show is still huge, still popular. We've got that doll again. Lots of action. Looks like a lot of crazy stuff going on. I still think the show will be huge. I think the finale will be huge. Netflix really has a great slate this year. They've got the final season of Stranger Things, they've got the final season of Squid Game, and they've got Wednesday season 2, all this year. So Netflix is doing extremely, extremely well. I think Squid Game will do very well. And then they also have this Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein movie, which I think looks excellent. I really like Guillermo del Toro. If you guys watched my video on Pinocchio, I reviewed his Pinocchio movie. I thought it was really, really good. So I'm excited to see more from Guillermo del Toro, and I was actually just in a show. In fact, I was just in a community theater production of Young Frankenstein. So it's so funny that now there's like a Frankenstein movie coming out, because I'm like, I've been in the Frankenstein mindset for the past few months. Um, so yeah, I think this looks really good. I think that Oscar Isaac here looks really good. I think, well, not Dune 1 good, but he looks good. Um, sorry. I don't know. I think the production value is strong. I think that it looks very good. Like, this kind of almost reminds me of Wicked. Like, this image here, like, but possibly like a darker version of Wicked. Like, it has like very strong production values, which, Guillermo del Toro movies tend to have. But this looks really good. This looks like one of his stronger ones. Now, the issue with this is that it's only on Netflix. This is not going to theaters at all. This is just another Netflix movie. And I'm kind of bummed, because this looks like something I would want to see in theaters. But that's just the state of the industry. That's where we are. So is anyone interested in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein movie? Do you care about this? What are your thoughts? Oh, Nikisa, thank you again for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Are you going to talk about the One Piece stuff? No, I'm not. Sorry, I'm not talking about One Piece. I don't know anything about One Piece. I didn't watch the show. I didn't watch the anime, so I didn't want to bring it up because I had nothing to add. Sorry. No, I'm not bringing up One Piece. But thank you for the super chat. Cal says the trailer looks promising. Yeah, I think it does. That Super is excited for it. The boy is excited for it. Yes, Jacob Elordi is playing Frankenstein's monster. Who knows? He could be good. Yeah, I know. I mean, there are select theaters, but usually those select theaters are like only LA and New York. So if you don't live in either of those places, you probably won't be able to see it in theaters. But I think it looks good. But now let's go to Stranger Things, because that, of course, is most likely going to be their biggest show this year. At least it should be. It is the finale. So they're releasing the show in 3 parts. They're releasing it for Thanksgiving weekend. That's the first part. Then they're releasing it for Christmas weekend. And then New Year's Eve weekend. So basically, they are owning the Hollywood the holiday season this year. For every holiday weekend, there's a new Stranger Things, like, several episodes coming out. And apparently these episodes are also hella long. Like, they're each like a movie length. So this is going to be a lot of Stranger Things in November and December. I think if the show is as good as it was the previous season, I did think last season was very good, then I think this show is going to dominate conversation all throughout the holiday season. Like, I think this is going to be what everyone's talking about, to the point that I actually think Stranger Things is a big enough brand that I think it could potentially hurt Avatar, just because I think that it will suck up so much of the social conversation, and Avatar already really struggles with having any sort of conversation, that I think it could potentially hurt Avatar. Like, that's how big I think this final season will be. As far as the trailer goes, most of it was just a rehash of what we've already seen, but we did get a bit of new material towards the end. It's mostly just a bunch of people screaming. Like, we've got this one where Will is just, like, screaming at something. I don't know what he's screaming at, but he's very afraid. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel a little bad for the actor who plays Will. People are bullying him so relentlessly to the point where I do think it's overkill, and now I kind of feel bad for him. But anyway, he's supposed to be like the lead of this new season too. Like, didn't the Duffer Brothers say like years ago that Will would be like the lead of this final season? And based on this short tease that we got, it was a lot of Will. So I mean, it makes sense to end with Will, because he was like kind of what the focus of the first season was about. So I think it makes sense to end with the focus being on him, but with the way the world has changed since then, and the internet has been so vicious to him, I wonder if that will also hurt the reception to this final season. If people can handle all the will that they're about to get. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? Um, but yeah, I'm still excited for Stranger Things. I really like this show. I think it's been ridiculous how long it takes to get these seasons out, but I do prefer quality over quantity. So I think overall each season has been quality. So honestly, I can't complain that much. I think this show is going to be big. I think this will be bigger than Wednesday season 2 and Squid Game. At least I think. I think it will be bigger. At least I think definitely in conversation it'll be the most talked about for sure. But what are your thoughts? Are you still looking forward to Stranger Things? Are you excited about it? Are you okay with Will being the lead of this season? What are your thoughts here? Um. Oh, same duck here. You want Will to survive? I don't know. I definitely think some people will die. Although one of the biggest critiques Stranger Things get is that the Duffer Brothers don't like to kill off their characters. But I do feel like somebody big has to die. Will it be Will? I don't know. But I do feel like somebody big has to die. Like, if they all live, I would be actually kind of annoyed about it. That super says, are people still into Stranger Things like that? I think so. People before every Stranger Things season, people have always been like, do people still care? And then the season's like always huge anyway. So I think people will still care, especially since this is the last season. Rosemary says this is gonna be peak. Okay, Natania's excited. Um, Noah Schnapp needs acting classes. I think he's not the only one on that in that cast that needs acting classes, to be honest. I think there's some really good actors on that show, but I don't think all of the kids were the best actors. Um, the voice says, I don't get why people do that with actors. Yeah, well, that's just Twitter and the internet. Caledonia says, I predict the same percentage drop from Avatar 1 to Avatar 2. Oh, that's interesting. So you think that there will be a big drop from Avatar 2 to Avatar 3? It's possible. I think part of what helped Avatar 2 was the long break, and there hasn't been as long of a break, and they haven't even started advertising it. Like, I bet there's a lot of people who have no idea there's an Avatar movie coming out in December. Like, they aren't advertising it at all, which I find to be weird. They gotta start doing that eventually, right? Um, okay, Vacay, you agree somebody has to go. I don't even want just one person to die. I want, like, at least 3 main characters to die. I just want something to mean something, you know what I mean? Like, if everyone lives, I feel like that's just too safe of an ending. Um, well, the reason they're splitting it up into 3 parts is to get the conversation to last longer. Which, so I kind of understand, especially if these episodes are as long as they're saying they're going to be. Um, so I understand why they're breaking it up into 3 parts. I personally, I know a lot of people were upset about this, but I actually think this makes total business sense. So I understand. Yes, the kids are now like in their like early 20s now for the most part. Um, it's been a long time. This show has been on for forever. Oh my gosh, this show is. I feel like this show has been on for like a million years. um. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Oh yeah, there's a bit more. They released a bit more information about the plot of the season. Well, something that I picked up on in this plot that makes me happy is that they're all going to be together again. Something I didn't like about the last season, or even the last like 2 seasons, is that a lot of them were like spread apart for most of the season and like didn't even get to like interact with each other. It sounds like they're not doing that this next season, that they're going to be like together again, which I'm really happy about. So that is something that I'm also excited about. So I think this will be good. I don't think the Duffer Brothers are going to whiff it on the last season. I think this is going to be a good season, or at least I hope so. But we'll see. Now, let's talk about Doctor Who. So, I've never really talked about Doctor Who on this channel, just because I don't really watch it anymore. However, I used to. I used to love this show. I've seen from 9 through like 10 and a half, so like halfway through 11, I have seen like every episode multiple times. I used to be obsessed with this show. Let me tell you. I used to be known as the nerd who was obsessed with this show. So, like, I know Doctor Who very well, okay? I stopped watching in Capaldi because I just thought the show got bad and I hated Clara. Um, and then, like, I watched a few episodes of the Jodie Whittaker and I just couldn't get into it. And then I tried to watch a few episodes of Trudy Gatwa's, and again, it just wasn't the same. I couldn't get into it. And so I was just like, maybe, the show had its day. It's clearly not as popular as it used to be. But at its peak, man, Doctor Who was everywhere. But the show has really fallen off, and, like, the ratings are in the gutter, and, like, most long-term fans like me have, like, turned away and aren't watching the show anymore. But they have gotten extremely desperate to get people to watch this show again. How desperate? Well, in the last episode of Doctor Who, they had Trudy Gatwa regenerate, which apparently was, like, not the plan, so it seems like he was maybe forced out instead of choosing to leave. I don't know, there seems to be some drama around this, but, like, the show is doing so poorly, I wouldn't be surprised if he was forced to leave. But when he was done regenerating, right, he returned, or he changed into Billy Piper. Billy Piper plays Rose Tyler / the Bad Wolf. I don't know if, like, because with Doctor Who, like, you could really have any sort of sci-fi rules you want to make up, really. So, but Billy Piper played a companion many, many years ago called Rose Tyler. She was a fan favorite. She was my favorite. They brought her back in season 4 and for the 50th because she's a fan favorite. And now it seems like in order to save the show, they brought her back again. But now, potentially as the Doctor, question mark? And I say the question mark because when they did the title card at the end, they didn't say Billy Piper as the Doctor. They just said, introducing Billy Piper. So, a lot of people are speculating that maybe this is, like, a red herring and, like, she's not actually the Doctor, but maybe, like, there's some, like, weird switch up happening, who knows. But the fact that they brought back Billy Piper as potentially Rose Tyler, I think, is intriguing, because I'm like, this is the first thing that Doctor Who has done in many years to get me interested. But on the other hand, I'm like, that makes no sense. This makes no sense, and it feels like jumping the shark, and it feels like they're very desperate to get people to watch the show again. And for those who don't watch Doctor Who or understand why this is, like, a big deal, I saw a few people who don't watch Doctor Who try to explain it to people, and I saw one tweet that I thought was very, very, like, a good way of explaining it. In Marvel terms, it's like how Marvel cast Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom to save the MCU. It's the same thinking here of getting Billy Piper back as potentially the Doctor. It's like the same desperate feeling kind of play here. Like the exact same thing. Because they know she's a well-liked character, she's a fan favorite, but to, like, bring her back as a Doctor doesn't make any sense. Like, canonically blows up so many storylines. It's actually kind of crazy. But also, I'm, like, kind of interested enough to maybe try to watch the show again. So they kind of got me. Like, it kind of worked. I saw more interest in this show on my timeline than I had ever seen. Like, I don't even follow, like, Doctor Who fans. Like, I really completely left that fandom. But a bunch of people who I didn't even know had watched Doctor Who were talking about this. And, like, that's how I knew, like, this really, like, blew up outside of, like, whoever was still watching the show. Like, this got more people talking than when they actually brought David Tennant back. And they brought David Tennant back and Donna. And, like, Billy Piper coming back has 3 times more noise than when they brought back Tennant and Donna, which is kind of interesting. but also I think kind of shows you how popular she really was. But anyway, for people who watch Doctor Who, how do you feel about this? Do you care? What are your thoughts here? Do any of you even like watch the show or know anything about what I'm talking about? Um, Seems like most of you have not seen this show. It does feel like stunt casting. It does feel like stunt casting. Apparently, Trudy Gatwa never even got to face a Dalek. See, this is why I hate when studios try to virtue signal and try to, like, race swap characters, because they almost never actually do that actor right. Because it sounds like they totally screwed over Trudy Gatwa, and he was the first Black Doctor. Like, you might as well have just not done it if you were going to, like, treat him that way. And Marvel does it, Disney does it. I hate when they do this. But anyway, I just had to bring this up because as an old school, not even old school, because I didn't even watch like the old school. Like, I didn't watch classic Doctor Who. I've only seen New Who, which is like from 2005 onward. But still, I'm still upset about this. I'm really upset. If you watch Doctor Who, you would be upset or confused too. Yeah. I had to bring that up because it blew my brain. But anyway, the last story that I wanted to talk about here was actually about Ariana Grande, because first of all I said on Twitter firstly was that this felt like a downgrade. And then I got some Ariana fans being all butthurt in my comments. I don't know what's going on Twitter, but now, lately, whenever I tweet something, there's almost always some sort of stan going, nuh-uh, or like making some sort of nasty comment. And I feel like they're watching my Twitter page because they respond so quickly. And I'm like, why do I have a bunch of haters watching my Twitter page? Waiting for me to tweet something that's gonna anger them. Cause like, get a life. But anyway, I just said that this was a downgrade because she is coming off of an Oscar nomination. She's coming off of, like, so many rumors that she could be in, like, an Audrey Hepburn biopic. Like, she was being pictured in, like, prestige films. And now she's choosing Meet the Parents 4? Yes, this is a downgrade. Because, let me explain. Firstly, she had other options. Apparently, a bunch of studios wanted to work with her. Like, basically every studio in Hollywood wanted to work with her. So this isn't even like, oh, she couldn't get anything better. She chose this. She wanted this. And then you look at how these movies have been doing as the series progressed, and, like, they literally got worse. And the last one was so bad, they have not made another one in 15 years. Like, I don't understand. Maybe she's just personally a really big fan of this franchise. I don't know. But I feel like business-wise, I don't understand why she went with this choice. Like, especially when she had other options that sounded potentially better. This is just like a very odd choice to me. Because I thought she was Oscar hungry. But doing this movie does not scream like she's Oscar hungry. This screams like maybe she wants to be a commercial star and just do things that, like, interest her. Which is fine, but that's not where I thought, like, the direction of her acting career was going. And I feel like by joining this franchise, she's, like, kind of going off in a different direction than I thought she was going in. And I kind of don't like that direction. So yeah, I thought this was a downgrade choice. I don't understand why she chose this. Maybe she just really likes this series. I don't know. But I thought this was like a bad choice on her part, to be honest. Well, what do you guys think? Do you like the Meet the Parents series? Are you excited for Meet the Parents 4? Do you think this is an upgrade? Do you think this is better than Wicked? Because everything about this screams downgrade. Yes, I know she wasn't campaigning for it, Donna Taz, but it's the fact that a lot of people wanted her to be in it. Like, that just shows you, like, the perception of the kind of actress she was. Sorry, you can see my dog. It just kind of shows you the perception of the kind of actress people thought she was. And then to go after some dead comedy franchise that's, now the fourth in the series, I don't get it. Du Bois says, the thing is, I don't get, why is she moving back into acting? Well, I understand why she'd want to do acting. I mean, she's now in her 30s, which for pop star years is like ancient. So I get why she wants to like move on to try to do something new, like Lady Gaga did. I mean, she's been in several movies now. And to be fair, Ariana started off acting and then went into singing, and then now she's trying to go back to acting. So this isn't like something new for her either. I think she's always wanted to be an actress, and she just got more successful singing instead. So we'll see. Cheetah Viper says she needs to pick better projects. Yeah. It doesn't seem like many of you are excited about this. I don't see one person excited about this. Oh, her reputation is tainted at this point? Are you talking about by SpongeBob? Yeah, I think that's true. However, I think people are already starting to care about that less, so I don't know. I definitely don't think her and SpongeBob are dating anymore. Did you guys notice that during the awards season, they like were never sitting next to each other, or like they barely talked to each other? Like, I am pretty certain they broke up a long time ago. But anyway, that's actually it for today. Those were all of my, that's it. Those were all of my stories. I told you, we actually had some really interesting stories to talk about today. So this was a really fun stream. Thank you all for being here. Because I'm going to Disney World this weekend, I won't be here on Sunday. So I'm going to aim for a live stream on Monday, but it might be Tuesday. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know. Follow me on Twitter. I keep you guys updated on there. Thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.